Hello, buddy, this is Purge. How you doing, guys? I'm going to make another Let's Look at Some Losses video. I just looked through some of my replays, and I found two games that I thought were appropriate. All the other ones that I lost, I either like fed horribly, which isn't really worth looking at, and I'm embarrassed as hell, or I didn't lose that much in the last couple weeks, and at least not enough losses where I thought it was worth going over the replay. I guess you guys might be like, oh, why don't you show us the major losses? But basically what happened was, I'll just explain this really quickly. Sometimes you'll be, it's basically like you'll feed your life as a support like 2 to 3 times in slightly shitty ways, and then from there the players are good enough where they just like snowball on you and they compete like completely, like you sit in the same mentality. And I've been having mentality problems the last 2 or 3 days. I've had like 2 or 3 games where I've had way too much, like over 10 deaths or something. But basically what happens is you have a mentality problem where you say, like, oh, I'll just be a little greedy here, just like slightly greedy, it'll be okay, and then you end up dying, and then you do that one more time, and then you do that one more time, and you do that one more time, and all of a sudden you've died 4 times, and there's no possible way you can come back at that point, and you just keep dying, because you're out of position or whatever, or because you're way too far behind. So like that slight mentality is something you have to be really careful about. Neither of those, that didn't happen in any of these other games though, so we'll take a look at them. I've got a Windrunner game and a Void game for you guys. The Void game was supposed to be really awesome, and I was hoping, I know somebody asked for a Void game recently, and I've been trying to change up my item build, because every time I feel like I go Battle Fury now, I'm just not happy with it at all. Like, I'm really not happy. I was playing with Way Too Sexy and Fluff and stuff here on Team Liquid, so you will recognize them, but we're going to do a free camera for this one. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I've been trying to change up my, this is obviously not the Void game, but I've been trying to change up my Void build a bit. I used to go Battle Fury into like, I don't know, damage items or something, but it's way too greedy, I think. I feel like the Battle Fury has such a shit build up for Void, because like before you finish the Battle Fury, all it gives you is damage, right? It gives you damage and cleave and regen and stuff, but the cleave is not very good, and it doesn't make your early chronospheres useful at all, because like you'll be right clicking a guy under a chronosphere and all you have is like treads and like a ring of health, and maybe if you're lucky a claymore or a perseverance or something, and it's really bad damage. I think the Mask of Madness build or a what's the word, a Shadow Blade build might be a lot better on the hero. So we can talk about that later though. But I've been trying to change up my build a little bit and having some mixed success, although I think I only played that one game where I want that build. Anyways, we are playing Windrunner today. Our draft was a bit weird. What we ended up doing was an aggressive tri-lane with a PA, and then I did a safe Windrunner, and then we had a mid-storm as well, with Way Two's playing the storm, I think, and the problem was that the 2 players on our team that aren't Way Too Fluff and myself are significantly worse than the rest of us, so unfortunately one of our bad players was playing our carry, which made things a little iffy because they ended up losing the tri lane, so that's one thing to look at. But let's just speed this up because we don't need to look at anything right now. Of course, the most important thing to look at in the early game is last hits for everybody, because then we can see matchups and see how close everybody is. And then we can look at some other stuff. So, alright, let's go down to like uber slow speed so we can take a look at a couple things. So our aggressive tri lane is a, am I in slow? There we go, beautiful, nice and slow. Alright, so we have a Phantom Assassin, Rubik Avenge, aggressive tri-lane. This is versus a Disruptor and an Anti-Mage, which should be able to contest the Anti-Mage's farm. They have a Jungling Nature's Prophet, which is not efficient because it makes their lanes weak. This means that our tri-lane should win down here. It doesn't end up winning, but it should win. I don't like getting Blink level 1. I think it should be Dagger, maybe. Although killing Anti-Mage is going to be really tough anyways. So,
with me.
let's see, bringing his items are coming really late for some reason. And then we have a Storm versus a Quap in the mid lane. So, man, I don't know how he burned a salve already. That's kind of weird. Maybe from his blocking or something? I'm not really sure. I'm solo Windrunner. I'm versus a Elder Titan, which is a little scary of a matchup at first, but it ended up being okay. So that's our lanes, basically. Alright, they got Disruptor. That works out okay. Yeah, okay. Well, I got the first blood. So, first thing that's wrong with our lineup. If our hard carry fails in the aggressive tri-lane, we lose the game. That's basically one of the problems. Our hard carry ended up dying a lot, and when your hard carry dies a lot, it kind of requires the rest of your teammates to end up doing something. So this requires me to either get some carry. He didn't get pulled, by the way. He randomed, as did the Queen of Pain, I believe. In fact, they basically both did. So they're on even playing ground, so it's a little ridiculous that he asked that. What was I saying? Okay, So me versus an Elder Titan. A couple things about this matchup. Skipping Windrun is not that bad because getting more Shackle and Power Shot is not too unexpected. If you're versus an aggressive tri-lane, or if you're an off-lane Windrunner versus the tri-lane, you gotta get Windrun at level 1. But if I'm versus an Elder Titan, it's not too bad to completely forego a Windrun. It's a little scary because his main damage source is right-clicking after he uses Astral, but for now it's gonna be okay. He's just sitting back here to grab some mana with his Clarity Potion. I will deny that, of course. He only lost about 10 mana from that. But from here, the most important thing I can do is just contest his last hits by double hitting creeps and things like that. So everything's going okay here. My last hits could be a little bit better, but they're not too bad. So I really got to be careful about not letting him hit me, though. I had to pop Windrun here. I was going for a last hit. I forgot there was a big pause here. I'll speed this up. But I let him hit me twice for like 100 damage, which is a DD basically, so that was pretty scary. I'm just going to hide back here as I salve up, and yep, his spirit comes through, and I should be able to dodge this. You just have to wait like 9 seconds. Yeah, it only stays out for 9 seconds, so if you just avoid the spirit for 9 seconds and prevent him from getting that damage and that buff on you, it's not too bad. Luckily, I was still able to get the XP here and dodge on the way back, so everything's fine. But still get 3 power shot by 5, so... A boots advantage is something I should be pressuring as well, since I have boots here and he does not. I probably should have continued chasing right there and gone for the kill. I think I ended up doing it right now, but I should have done this a little earlier. And I should be able to get this kill. I should use Windrun right there to stay in close range. Okay, so he had 9 HP left. That sucks. If I would have let that charge up a little more, I would have gotten him as well. So that was really unfortunate. I should have gotten this kill 100%. So in retrospect, if we take a look at what happened, things that I would have done differently. Right here. At this point, I should use Windrun, because I needed to get my positioning to be perfect on top of him. So for example, if the same situation happened, if I used the power shot and got him really low and accidentally canceled it a little too early or something like that. If I accidentally canceled it a little too early, I would still be right next to him. It would cost me an extra 100 mana, but if I look at my mana, I have both a power shot and a Windrun, so it's silly to not be using this. I just decided, I thought, oh, okay, whatever, I'll save my mana, it'll be fine, but... And now I just used Windrun last second, and at this point it would have been too scary to dive, because it would have taken 2 more right clicks to kill him right there, since he did end up salving. So in the end it wasn't going to end up... Oh, and then I had this. This was like the best thing ever. I went to go buy, and then I got trapped in with creeps. Isn't this hilarious?
Radiant's top tower is up. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I was able to not die here, but like I didn't have a power shot, I didn't have Windrun. I literally almost died to creeps. That was like the most ridiculous thing that's ever happened to me. So I brought myself a Tranquil Boots. This will guarantee my HP regens up. I have to be a little careful here because if he comes back and spirits me, I could die. But he was actually on the bot lane. So anyways, should have had a kill there. That would have been good. Alright, so yeah, should have gotten a kill. Biggest mistake I made. My last hitting's still okay. I'm behind the Queen of Pain, but I'm second on our team. Our PA is not doing too bad, actually. Let's speed up a ways, though. Actually, I think I'm just going to jump ahead a ways, because there is a lot of boring last hitting that I haven't done, or that I do for a while. Okay. I think we've gone too far. Let's go here. See what I'm at. Alright, I got a kill on somebody. I think this is the Elder Titan. Alright, let's find out. Speed this one up a bit. Wow, last hitting. Wow, last hitting.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower.
Yes, we end up going on one of these heroes. Okay, I did get the Elder Titan. Alright, so the first mistake that I make in this game is not recognizing that our carry is not doing so hot. In fact, he's died 3 times already. He's got 26 last hits, which is significantly behind me. I'm actually in the highest because I've been basically passively farming the whole time on the top lane. I ended up going for a Force Staff first because I made Tranquil Boots, so I said, whatever, I'll make a Force Staff, it'll be great. The mistake was that if our hard carry is not doing so hot, and we have a Storm Spirit, way too sexy played him fantastic, but the problem is they have an Anti-Mage, which hard counters Storm Spirit, and they have a Disruptor, which hard counters Storm Spirit. That is 2 hard counters against our mid-hero. So if our PA doesn't do well, and we have a Storm who's a good player and is probably going to do well, and they counter him, that means that we need carry potential in somewhere else. And me getting a Force Staff is not carry potential. This gives you utility, this gives you carry potential if you're really fucking good at Windrunner, but I'm not really good at Windrunner. I'm just like kind of okay at Windrunner. So grabbing a Force Staff first is not a good choice. What I should have done is gone straight for an Orchid. Maybe go Tranquil Boots into Orchid. Immediately. Skip the Force Staff, just get Orchid. If I got Orchid immediately, what I would have accomplished is I would have had an item that hard counters Queen of Pain. I would have had an item that hard counters Anti-Mage, and an item that would allow me to get solo kills on Disruptor, or Prophet, or Elder Titan. Maybe not Elder Titan, maybe not Prophet, but Disruptor, Anti-Mage, and Queen of Pain. Guaranteed would have given me a way to gank them, to slow down their farm, and possibly let our carries get back in the game. All very important things, but instead I said, I'm playing Windrunner, let's get a Force Staff. The only time I think it's wise to get a Force Staff on Windrunner, if you have this much farm, is if you're in the off lane. If you're in a position where you are breaking even by getting an item, or getting a utility item, which allows you to be more useful in the mid game, because you should have less farm than you carry. If you're playing off lane, whatever, go Force Staff first in pretty much all circumstances, because you should have a hard carry that's getting a lot of farm top. If they're aggressively tri-laning though, and you're in a 1v1 matchup, it's probably better if your hard carry's having a tough time, or you don't have enough carry potential, go straight for an Orchid, or go straight for a damage item or something. But generally, it's an Orchid is a damage item for Windrunner. The damage is much better on an Orchid than it is on a lot of things. It's actually a 55 damage item, 25 int, plus 30 damage, plus 30 attack speed. And the silence is really, really useful towards shutting down blinking or a lot of different carries before they get BKB, which is not going to be the case for any of these guys for a long time. I should have gone straight Orchid. Instead, I decided to go towards Force Staff. And and then we'll see the problems with that shortly. So we'll just follow me for a while here. I have the Force Staff completed now, whatever. So it's a 10-minute Force Staff. This is really useful. I should be able to use this to kill people or do cool things. Queen of Pain ends up dying over here. Good stuff. He steal Mana Void? Yeah, he did.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Stun duration. Damage is pretty good at level 1, actually. Alright, so continue passively farming with my Force Staff because it makes no sense. We're going to TP bot as they push the tower. And I keep farming, keep farming, keep farming, keep farming. Alright, so we got a fight coming up mid. Got a power shot kill. We're going to lose Venge. I was able to catch the Anti-Mage. But we couldn't really follow up on it because it was high ground, unfortunately. I also made phase boots because I wanted a bit more damage potential. Again, if I would have done this in the past, I would have just gone straight Tranquil Boots with... Yeah, he was unable to get that kill because of the glimpse, so it was too bad. But I would have gone straight Tranquil Boots into Orchid, most likely, or Brown Boots Orchid. Probably Tranquil, though, because I needed some HP regen in the lane, that's for sure. So I'm trying to keep the lane unpushed here. We got an Anti-Mage, all is good. Things are looking fine. I still haven't used my Force Staff for much of anything, honestly. I think I used it in that fight. And what do? I go back to farming. So, at this point, the game still looked fine, honestly. I was sitting at 2-0-1. I had a lot of CS. I had the most in the game by far. I had 2 Robe of the Magi's because I was planning to make an Orchid. And this is actually not too bad of an early pickup for the fact that they give you 6 intelligence each. That's 6 damage. It gives me a bigger mana pool. And it gives me slightly more mana regen over time. Not a higher percentage overall, but a higher... what's the right way to say it? Okay. So as you increase your intelligence, your mana levels with int, it basically doesn't increase the percentage of total regen per second, something like that. This is probably too confusing. This is like overly mathy, but it's not important to make that distinction. If you get more int, you get more mana regen over time, but it doesn't give you an increased total max mana pool increase over time. Does that make sense? So it's like if you tread switch, for example. So first problem with Force Staff, it saves me here, and then I'm running away. Whatever, running away. He misses his scream, so I decided to fight, and then he just ulted me, which was stupid. I should have just kept running. So I ended up dying. Force Staff ended up saving me there. Maybe if I had an Orchid, I could have done something different, but we did have a tower. We didn't get support TPs. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have died there. Probably shouldn't have died there. But all this farm that I got was slightly wasted here. And again, I go back to the top lane, and I go back to farming. I probably should have gone around and tried ganky with this, rather than just passively farming the whole game, because passively farming doesn't score me any kills. We end up smoking here, we're looking for a kill. We get a Prophet first, easy. Force Staff to low ground, don't make a kill, escape, blah 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 blah. Die again, whatever. So, I'm basically not making anything happen with this early farm. This is the important thing to point out right now. I got all these last hits, I got all this free farm. My gold per minute is right in the middle of the pack, and that's because I haven't actually done anything with this. I got 85 last hits, I got 2 kills, I got an assist, and ever since then I haven't done anything with my Force Staff, I haven't done anything with all these items. I haven't made kills happen. Part of the problem is, of course, not the best Windrunner, so that makes things tough. And the other problem is, they actually have pretty difficult heroes to kill before I get Orchid. And the heroes that I need to counter, which is Anti-Mage and Queen of Pain preferably, and try to shut them down, it hasn't happened at all yet. It just hasn't happened. If I went Orchid first, I don't know if I would have been able to afford it. Orchid's about 4K, I believe. Yeah, it's about 4.1K, so I wouldn't even have an Orchid right now. Force Staff is, what, 22, and this is about 1,000, so I'd have about 3,000 gold. I would be close to my Orchid. It's hard to say whether getting an Orchid would have made a difference or not. These give you 21 damage apiece, whereas this is, what, 10 damage and 12 damage. I would have way more right-click damage, but whether or not I could get a kill is hard. I think they were just better players than me, and it's hard for me to land shackles, and playing Windrunner is all about seeing the shackles. It's not about just, like, hoping for a shackle, so I made that mistake this game. So, like, all this early farm that I got, I'm not making kills with it, and if we check the GPM of our RPA, he's, like, way, way down there. 4 deaths, 62 last hits, having a really rough time. So, we will continue this for a bit, and I think this is pretty much all that I need to look at for the video. In case you were curious, I never ended up finishing the Orchid. I said, whatever, I just need to go back top and finish the Orchid, which is maybe a mistake. They killed our Rubik here. I continue to get a lot of last hits, whatever. Storm finished his Orchid. I don't think I ever did. So the game pretty much ends it. I don't think it's worth watching anymore. But basically, we never were able to finish any major items, and eventually their anti-mage got a little out of control, and they started just hard countering us every fight. Storm Spirit started getting glimpsed into ultis, and he doesn't have a BKB because he went for Orchid, which counters a lot of their important heroes, and we're never able to really come back. But I definitely should have gone for Orchid first, I think. Maybe you could argue that I wouldn't even have it at this point, so I wouldn't have been able to make an impact, but I think I definitely should have gone Orchid first. If you go Force Staff first, you need to make ganks happen, or you need to team fight, I believe, because it is a team fight and a ganking item. If I go Orchid, then I need to go ganking, or farm the Orchid, then go ganking, something like that. I'm not quite sure, but I definitely think I played the game a little bit wrong, so slight mistakes from me there, and we ended up losing. So it's kind of a mix of like them hard countering our heroes a bit. RPA kind of put me in a spot where I wasn't planning ahead or thinking correctly. I needed to think more about this game and be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't get a Force Staff because I need to hard carry. And Fluff was saying that very early in this game. He was like, all right, we need Windrunner to hard carry. We need Windrunner to hard carry. And I was like, okay, I'll do it, guys. I'll get an Orchid, but I needed to do it earlier. I needed to do it before Force Staff. So something to adjust to my play that I should have done there. And I had a really good start, honestly. It's just I died twice in stupid ways, and I should have probably been around ganking or something like that. I'm not sure. Maybe I should just roam towards the anti-mage or something. Oops, that's the wrong overlay, sorry. There we go. My beautiful face. All right, let's go into the next game. This next game is going to be a Void game, like I said, and this will be the last of the replays for this video. Sorry the video's out so late, by the way. I feel like I'm really close to fixing my sleep schedule, which is a dirty lie. I've been trying so hard. I'm really close to fixing my sleep schedule. I tried going to bed at like 4 p.m. or 4 a.m. last night. Sat there for an hour, then finally fell asleep. It was not good. Alright, here we go. I think this is the right game. Yes. This game is depressing. So, Pace is Void. The build that I used to do was Battle Fury with Yasha, and then I'd try to get more damage items because my attack speed sucked. That's the problem with Battle Fury. The item costs 4,000 gold, and it doesn't give you any attack speed at all. It's kind of shitty in that sense. It's really, really expensive. What I'm doing instead is a Mask of Madness build, and Mask of Madness is not an item that I almost ever recommend. The only times you guys have seen me get Mask of Madness recently was the Sven game I played. Sven, I recommend it if you get a Black King bar and they don't have too many range carries, preferably. And Mask of Madness on Void is also very good, and it's for the reason that I talked about earlier. When you grab a Battle Fury, it costs 4,000 gold or more. I think it's like 4,300 or something like that. It's a really expensive item, and it does very, very little for you before you complete it. Even after you complete it, it really just gives you like 50% double damage. 50% of a double damage or something. It's like a 1.5% or a 1.5 times damage increase, which is okay, but it's not that amazing. It does kind of help you farm neutrals faster, but you're not as mobile as an anti-mage anyway, so I don't think the Battle Fury build is very smart. If you really want to do a faster farming Void build, I think the best way to do it is grab a Hand of Midas. Hand of Midas, number one, increases your attack speed, which means that you do more damage with Chronosphere because you can bash into Chrono and it does more damage. Or, yeah, that's pretty much it. I say just go a really fast Midas probably is the better Void build. I don't think it's that greedy. If you go like Midas and Mask of Madness, you actually already have damage just naturally from your bash because you have a lot of attack speed that way. So I think that might be the best way to do it, perhaps. That's me just like theory crafting right now. I've seen a lot of people go Midas before. I think going Midas Battle Fury is too greedy, but I think going like Midas into another attack speed item or Mask of Madness or Shadow Blade or whatever is fine. I think that sounds okay. Semi-okay. So we'll speed this up a little bit. Let's jump into the actual game.
Dire
Oh yeah, this
team
is Captain's Draft. This is why this is taking so long. This is a draft by Aosen, I believe, and I was playing Faces Void. We were playing with 3 players that were not very good,
Radiant structures are fortified.
defined by themselves. So let's take a look at the lanes really quick. Free camera. Actual free camera, thank you. Okay, so I'm playing a hard carry Faces Void. This is the item build that I like a lot. A Stout Shield because my allies will be pulling. Salve Tango, 3 Ironwood Branches for last hitting power, for mana, for all that good stuff. I don't really think you need a Clarity Potion on Faces of Void in the early game, so this build's pretty good. I could also pick up a Slipper of Agility here if I wanted to instead, and then make a Poor Man's Shield in lane. That's not too bad either, especially if I'm expecting Harass. Although it is going to be a Darkseer this game, which means there's going to be a lot of Harass coming towards me. I could have maybe adjusted to this by grabbing a Tranquil Boots. Usually Tranquil Boots is pretty good, but a Darkseer versus a melee carry is not very fun for the melee carry because it oftentimes means that you're going to be taking Iron Shell Harass, which is never fun.
30 seconds to battle.
So if we speed this up, we'll almost immediately see the first problem.
Begins.
Do we have cleared? Do we have sentries? Okay, we do have sentries. So I assume this does get dewarded. Alright, problem number 1. If I want to take last hits, I'm going to be taking damage. And also, it's really important that you end up denying a lot of the creeps, because if you don't deny the creeps, then Darkseer is going to get some free EXP. Or free gold, sorry. So denying is oftentimes a priority for me when I'm playing a carry versus a Darkseer. Now a lot of the times I'll get the deny, but a lot of the times it's also going to cost me a last hit, or maybe it's going to mess me up. And that's the main problem I had this game, is I simply did not last hit well at all. I really did not. If we scoot forward a little bit, that first wave is a little weird. I don't really blame myself too much for that one, because it ended up like dancing around and weird stuff. But I honestly last hit, like right there, I got a deny when I should have just gone for a last hit. Honestly, just like last hit really bad this game. So, I don't think you want to see this too much, me painfully last hitting, but we get a first blood, whatever. And if we look at where I'm at this point in the game, I've only got 23 last hits versus the 28 that a Clinks is working with free farm. And he actually already has a tower as well, so I definitely should have more last hits than this. And again, it was a Darkseer that was contesting me a lot, so as you guys can see, I went for a lot more denies than some of the other heroes, but if we extrapolate this even farther, last hitting problems, I'm at 41. I'm not like obscenely far behind by any means, but I'm behind, and I should be farther up than this. In the past, I used to do Quelling Blade on Faces Void and maybe some other carries, but since then I've kind of like given up on Quelling Blade. I almost never get Quelling Blade anymore. Obviously this game it would have been nice, because obviously I'm missing a lot of last hits, but Quelling Blade can sometimes solve your problems a lot. It helps a lot. Getting Treads helps as well, because this gives you 8 more damage, so that can be an okay substitution towards your inadequacy, but... Alright, we'll speed up again. Anyways, first item I'm going for is, again, Mask of Madness. I picked up a Mask of Death for some HP regen. More tower problems, unfortunately. I don't think I really need to watch. I should have gone in on that, I think. Let me look at that again. Alright. Alright, so here is the Darkseer. Let's slow this down a lot, and then watch it. Don't know if he mentioned that we were going for this or not. I probably should have just gone for it, though. I mean, his HP was low. I think I was trying to bait him in or something like that. Alright, there's the TP. I should have gone right there. I was looking at last hits, and that was a mistake big time. And by the time I finally reacted, I wasn't able to go for it. So that was pretty stupid. I should have gotten a kill there. I didn't even notice that one when I watched the replay last time. Okay, so I missed some kills. Let's jump forward more. This isn't worth watching just yet. Alright, I got Mask of Madness. I think we spotted some heroes here. Ooh, I missed the Shadow Fiend. That was too bad. Well, we are able to kill the Darkseer at least. There we go. Got some Shadow Fiend kills. All is good. Alright, first thing to look at that we should be mindful of. We are way behind in gold earned. We're actually way ahead in kills. Well, not way ahead, but we have 3 kills over them. We're way ahead in kills, somewhat ahead in kills, and they have a huge gold advantage just because they're last hitting better than us. Their EXP is only slightly ahead of us, but if you look at the last hits and the gold per minute, their 2 core heroes are way ahead of us. Zeus has a lot of trouble farming, to be honest. He can get enough last hits in lane, but usually after that point it becomes kind of hard to farm, because most of his power is based on single target nuking and a bit of AoE from Arc Lightning. And this means that he can't jungle or do things as fast as a hero like Shadow Fiend can, or a hero like Clinks can. Those heroes are a lot more mobile. So their GPM is much higher than me. I just have a Mask of Madness and a Treads, and Klinks is already going to be walking with an Orchid, which is pretty scary for a lot of us. Well, this is something to keep in mind of. If we jump forward, I can look at a couple team fights that were very crucial for us to point out. Let me see where my other kills are. Oops. Is it still tracking my kills properly? It's not. Alright, this is where we got the double kill. Nothing really happened up until this point here. I'm going for a BKB immediately next because I need magic immunity against the Nyx Assassin, basically in the AA and stuff. The problem with Mask of Madness is when you initiate a new Chronosphere, there's very little chance you're going to grab all 5 of the heroes. So what you have to do is you have to go Magic Immune. Because if you don't go Magic Immune, you're going to take bonus damage from stuns and things. Like the 2 items together are almost required, especially when they have hard stuns like a Nyx Assassin or even a Klinks. Klinks is even a little iffy in this game for going the Mask of Madness build, because if he's outside of the Chrono while I'm inside the Chrono, I'm going to take huge physical damage increase. BKB does nothing other than stop his searing arrows, which is a small component of his overall damage once he uses his ulti. So grabbing a Mask of Madness is oftentimes a little shifty. But basically I'm aiming for a BKB here. This kind of limits my damage slightly because I end up getting, a survivability item and an attack speed item, and I really just have like a moderate... I don't have that much to work with. We ended up getting a Klinks for free here, and I'm able to pick up a Shadow Fiend as well, so this worked out really nice. Unfortunately, that was only Aegis, but we still have a dead Klinks. One other problem with Faceless Void as a hero is that if you use your Chronosphere to get a kill on a Aegis hero, they can still end up pushing and you're on cooldown for a very long time, so he's a bit limited to his ulti.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So whatever, get some kills, get some kills. After those doubles, by the way, we can take a look at the graphs. We're actually still really far away. They're just out farming us simply. It's not like I'm dying or anything, I am killing camps and things, but they're simply able to outfarm us. We maybe could have tried to defend this down here. They do have a DD apparently, and I don't have Chronosphere, and we also don't have a Nature's Prophet. Our Nature's Prophet had a lot of trouble snowballing this game. He's pretty far behind, 21 minutes, and he doesn't have his Lothars yet, so there were some issues there as well, but not really worth pointing out. I think I definitely could have won this game for my team if I played it correctly. So I don't blame my allies very much this game.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Lose the bot tower, whatever, split pushing, got BKB, and we're ready to fight. So, things to look for as a BKB carry. Upon reviewing the replay or playing the game live, Klinks is easiest to kill by far. Doesn't have magic immunity. I can just jump on top of him. I can time lock him, bash him endlessly. Shadow Fiend's also pretty easy to kill. He does splash me after I blow him up, but it's still about the same thing. It's still a pretty good option. I've got TP scrolls, blah 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 blah. Farming. And I seem to remember we had a couple really good fights. I jumped on an illusion there. We're pushing soon. Alright, there we go. Alright, so I get a solo Klinks. I'm snowballing on kills. Everything's beautiful. Oh god, sorry. Back. Okay. Get the Klinks.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And then we're gonna go fight down here. I did not have my ulti, by the way. I didn't get a bash on the A, so I couldn't keep him stopped, unfortunately. But
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
this fight was kind of fun. So close. Would have been so good, wouldn't it?
Dire's bottom tower
Fight
is
was
under
pretty
attack.
okay for us. We got 4. Shadow Fiend's gonna go try to pick up a kill or something, but if we look at the
Dire's
graph,
bottom tower is
like
under
a very
attack.
slight jump up. It wasn't a horrible fight for us, but it
Radiant's
wasn't very
middle
good.
tower is under
Shadow Fiend
attack.
definitely should crush it with that. Maybe he should. Might not have gotten the kill. So whatever, got some kills. Killed some heroes. Used my BKB. My initiation was maybe a little weak because I didn't have a disable on the A. I hit him like 3 times and I didn't get a bash on him, so he was able to get away, which kind of sucked. I think this is just about the area where we have a good time. So, this is probably the best play that I made this game.
Radiant's bottom tower is
And here
under
we go.
attack.
So, Chronosphere, the 2 hard carries. I can BKB, I can Mask of Madness, I can easily kill Shadow Fiend. And I was barely able to kill the Klinks as well, so go for the next squishy heroes if possible. Darkseer's really hard to kill, unfortunately. So at this point I changed targets to A because he's much squishier. If I get a bash on him, then he dies. And he does end up dying,
Dire's
so...
top tower is under attack.
Alright, so that was by far the best team fight we had the whole game. And if we take a look at how this reflects the graph, it doesn't reflect it just yet, but if we speed up a little bit, it'll reflect slightly.
Dire's top tower.
And bam.
Dire's
Okay,
middle tower
so
is under attack.
if you win a 5-4-0 team fight, it easily gives you the chance to come back. And despite our last hits still not being that amazing, if we look at our total last hits, I'm still not top of the pack. I'm kind of close, but I'm not there. but just winning a 5-for-0 team fight like drastically changes things. And this is where Faceless Void ends up being kind of a fun team fight carry. There aren't that many team fight carries that have like abilities that really control team fights, but Chronosphere is definitely one of them. So controlled the team fight. I got the 2 carries under the Chronosphere. We killed both of them during the Chronosphere duration. They do nothing in that fight, and we're able to jump back heavily in terms of gold, and especially in terms of EXP. So this means our levels should be catching up at this point. So from here, the game felt pretty good. It felt like I could definitely win it, and everything was going to be fine. But again, the problem with the team fight carry is if you mess up your team fight, probably are going to end up losing. I guess that's kind of the case for just about any carry. But so just going to go back farming. They got an Aegis again. This is another mistake I made a couple times this game. It's whoever grabs the Aegis is somebody that I should not jump on 100%. If I jump on somebody that has an Aegis, I end up Chronosphereing them, and I end up killing them, and then everything, they'll end up respawning, and maybe the fight won't go so well. So at this point, I think the most important thing to look at is my vision, so we can get at least my decision making based on this. We have very bad vision of their whole team. Their positioning is very, very good on a lot of these heroes. So all we could see is Shadow Fiend. I'm invisible because of Nature's Guise, so I end up going in on the Shadow Fiend. He's still the only hero I see, so I decide, whatever, I don't need to pop my BKB. And then very wisely, the next Assassin's going to stun me, and I'm going to have a really bad time as I basically just get blown up and die. So that was really dumb. Basically what I did not do there is I didn't pop my BKB. And I also just simply shouldn't have gone on the Shadow Fiend. I shouldn't have gone on the Shadow Fiend because he had Aegis. If I was going to go on the Shadow Fiend, I either needed a BKB or I needed a Chronosphere. Most likely just BKB. And most importantly, the hero that I should have gone on is not Shadow Fiend at all. It should have been Clinks. Clinks would be good. Darkseer is really hard to kill, so I don't think I could burst him down. Maybe doing the Nyx or the A, but I think even these 2 supports were a waste. I needed to go for the Clinks, and I needed to have vision. If I had better vision, I probably would have made a better decision, but with the limited vision I had, I should have been smart and not made a mistake. So this is how we end up losing our first team fight, and pretty much everything we just accomplished is going to end up being a little wasted here. So watch the graph. It's going to jump back down. EXP jumps a lot, and gold is going to jump quite a bit as well. They're taking racks right now, and they're going to end up succeeding with this because I'm still respawning. I could not buy back for this because I did end up picking up my Demon Edge, but you know what I could have done? I was going for a Daedalus, by the way. If I didn't die there and we broke even on the team fight, I would have been at a Daedalus. I would have been at least evenly matched, I think, with the Shadow Fiend. I would have been better matched at the Clinks, I think, because I would have had Mask of Madness, BKB with a Daedalus, and he just would have had Orchid and BKB, something like that. So that was a pretty big loss because of my bad mistake there. In that game, this game is definitely made much harder because of my mistake. So, but whatever, game is still controllable. We're just kind of back to the point that we were at before, albeit not as bad. Like we're behind, but we're not too bad. And we're gonna go back to farming. Blah 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 blah. Got Daedalus. Everything's cool. I'm still pretty strong. I definitely still have the means to kill a bunch of their heroes. Yay, last hits. If you're wondering why I'm getting this item build, by the way, the crits help you burst down heroes during Chronosphere. You can get kind of lucky with it. I don't have any like natural. I kind of look at it as like naturally tanky items. Like I don't have natural DPS items. Like I like getting things like Butterfly and Manta Style and whatever, these items that give me like all around good strength. But this is more like burst fight. These are literally like all team fight items. This is a team fight item. This is a team fight item. They're like very situationally strong items. Once they run out, or once I get stunned outside of BKB, I just suck basically. I do low attack speed. I do fairly moderate damage, but really not that high. They're not as strong. Like they're better bursty, and you can snowball from team fight items, or use them during team fights. But they're not always the best thing. So we just got a sentry placed here, and we spotted an SF. Frostbite, and I get a bash, and then I stupidly get stunned. Alright, and at this point things look a little weird. I again made a big mistake, and that was not Chronosphereing early enough, and not BKBing. I didn't want to Chronosphere the Shadow Fiend right away, because I felt like it was a waste. Like if you know somebody's invis, for example, it's not always worth it. You're going to see some effects like BKB and stuff on heroes that aren't technically there, but if we resume this again, he's not actually magic immune again. He's going to get Frostbite here. And I'm going to come over here with Mask of Madness, and I'm going to luckily just bash him. At this point, I could definitely see the Nyx, and what I should have just done is pop BKB immediately. If I pop BKB right here, the Nyx stun would have been wasted. If Shadow Fiend gets his ulti off, it does nothing. And I should have just Chronosphered. And what I started to do is right here, I started casting Chrono, and instead I just get stunned. I'm going to need a vacuum. Shadow Fiend's going to hit me. I'm going to get mana drained. There's going to be a wall on top of me, and this is probably the biggest problem in the whole team fight. I didn't get Ice Blasted because I was magic immune. I believe. Oh, maybe I did get Ice Blasted, but I BKB'd through it. There's an illusion on me. My illusion is spawned on me. This is doing 140%. Oh, he doesn't have a scepter, sorry. But I'm getting hit really hard from my illusion, basically. And right there, Clinks was able to pick me off with an arrow, as was my illusion. And this hits the Chronosphere, because Face's Void is not affected by Chronosphere, even if it's an opponent. I think this might be an unintended... Does this count? I don't know if this has changed, like... I guess it has probably always been like this. But anyways, we lost another team fight, and they lost to literally 0 heroes. And this is the moment where we basically lost the game, where the game got out of control. So basically I had pretty good... Alright, I missed a lot of last hits early. That was my first mistake. And I brought back the team by getting the double kill here and setting up the chrono on the 2 important heroes. But after that point, I threw 2 team fights, and it basically put us in an out-of-control position again. It put us in a spot where we're absolutely dicked. Speed this up a little bit, and we'll see the graph reflect. Alright, so it didn't move that much, but even still, we lost the team fight. I was not able to snowball. Shadow Fiend's going to be very close to his butterfly now, so they've basically progressed to like 2 halves of an item, whereas I haven't moved at all, and I didn't get any kills either. So, 2 small team fight mistakes. Not popping BKB. First one was absolutely stupid, the second one was less bad, but still pretty bad. Should have just BKB'd instead of getting greedy with the Chronosphere. So 2 small teamfight mistakes like that, and bam, I'm way behind. If it wasn't for those 2 mistakes, we easily could have won this game. Better teamfight mid would have been solid, and this one is definitely the most controllable one. But I should have been able to just BKB and then just Chronosphere. I could have killed the Shadow Fiend. I don't know if he had an Aegis then. I think he did. He did have an Aegis then. I could have killed him regardless, and maybe gone for the Nyx as well. Maybe the teamfight would have turned out as bad, but it still would have been a lot better than the alternative. So that's basically how we ended up losing this. We got a second Rex, or they almost got a second Rex, I believe, and then we had like a couple more. I think there was like one more fight towards the end that ended up going bad. Let's jump up towards that.
Radiant's courier has been...
I kept doing some like solo kills on Clinks and things like that, as he would try to gank me. I progressed into a Demon Edge, I believe, and then eventually the goal was basically just to get a Divine Rapier, because we were so far behind. At this point, as you guys can see, we're a ways behind. 20k EXP, 15k gold is pretty big. But we kept solo killing some people. We lost our bot racks at some point with a push. I don't remember why. Is that? I wonder. Let me see. I want to see our bot racks. Yeah, this is the fight that I was talking about. Alright, so. I don't remember him writing that. During the game. Okay. So, I don't know if we have vision. Do we have a gem? It doesn't look like we have a gem. I'm not like flabbergasted. I'm like trying to remember what he's thinking about. I really don't know, honestly. Okay. So team fight starts. We can see the Clinks. We just now spotted the... I don't remember how, but I could like barely see the Nyx. I think there was like a sentry down. I don't know why, but I could see the Nyx. I remember that I could see the Nyx. I don't know where detection's coming from, but we have detection somewhere. And I remembered seeing the Nyx. And at first I kind of thought he was the Clinks, so I tried to Chronosphere them, and I like barely missed the Clinks, and then that kind of like dicks us over pretty bad, because then I get a BKB or whatever, I killed the Nyx, but the important here that we needed to kill was the Clinks. And unfortunately I wasn't able to kill that set. Even if I killed him, it didn't matter because he had an Aegis, so we ended up losing that as soon as I chronoed and realized that I missed the Clinks. So basically like 3 small mistakes, and alright. 3 small to moderate mistakes in team fights ends up losing us the game, so... I guess he didn't say anything else. I honestly have no idea what he was talking about. I thought it was pretty accommodating. Maybe I was, I'm guessing maybe at some point... There are a couple things that maybe people were angry about. A couple times people would stop me while I was walking past lines and stuff like that, and while I was busy doing something else, and maybe I seemed impatient or rude or like they were wasting my time. Because sometimes I have trouble controlling how I'm conveying my emotions. So maybe it was something like that. I really don't know what he's talking about though, honestly. Maybe he's mad that we cut line when we were scanning for signatures or something. I'm not sure. I do not know. Okay. So yeah, that's basically all the mistakes. A couple small teamfight mistakes. chronospheres, BKBs, things like that. Just small mistakes on my part. So yeah, that's why we lost that game. I think that's about it. All right, cool. So Windrunner game, should have gotten carry items and transitioned into what else? Carry items should have transitioned into carry items faster rather than getting 4 staff. That would have been really good. And for the Void game, just a couple botched team fights and last hitting were my main problems and big errors that I made. I definitely could have won this game if I played better and made slightly less mistakes. I should have chronosphered at the top ward, and I should have BKB'd or gone on somebody else, or chronosphered on the Shadow Fiend, and that would have been a lot better. And I also need to be a lot more mindful about who gets Aegis. I like never think about it. Somebody grabs Aegis, I'm like, whatever, they got Roche, no big deal. But then I just start a team fight and I kill a guy, and I'm like, oh, I just used my chronosphere on the guy that has Aegis, and now he's going to respawn. And that happened a couple times where I kept gunning for the Shadow Fiend, and you almost have to wait for him last. It really sucks when a Shadow Fiend gets an Aegis because he's able to burst people down really quickly. So. Okay, I think that's about it. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you learned a little bit about this and how you can like almost win games and then completely throw them with some very small mistakes. This is one of the games that I lost. I didn't really feel like showcasing. I would have made a video about this, but I was not happy that I missed so many last hits, and I figured it wouldn't be fun to commentate this if I missed that many last hits. Just like really frustrating to watch. I know. I'm going to play another Void game soon though, so you'll be able to see the hero demonstrated a bit better. Or be able to see like how to play the hero and how to feel out decision making on him a bit better than this. So I'll probably try the mask build again. I maybe won't do it against the Clinks next time. If I actually get good last hits, I'll probably just go Midas into mask into maybe skip BKB, but maybe keep it. Maybe I'll just go straight into Daedalus, or maybe I'll try out Shadow Blade or something. I'm not quite sure yet. But thanks everyone for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.